Today I've come out into the countryside and I'm going to let you into a secret. Something I haven't told anybody on our YouTube channel before. And you might be quite surprised. I've had a life of crime before I became involved in YouTube and on our travel channel. Burglaries, theft, robberies, you name it. I've spent more time in police cells than I care to remember. I've also been involved in more fights than your average person. So I think I'm in a unique position to be able to give some crime prevention advice to people travelling and also just round and about. So I'm going to tell you about how I came to be involved with a life of crime and also what you can do to keep yourself safe. So it all started 30 years ago. Well, over 30 years ago now. And that was when I joined the police in the West Midlands. So yeah, for 30 years I was a police officer, and that's my involvement in crime. And during that time I ran crime prevention departments. I've even appeared on BBC, ITV, giving crime prevention advice, and also once live on Sky News. If any of you have watched the programme Fake Britain, I led a team of officers on a raid on that programme. So if you like your daytime TV, you might have seen me. I'm thinking that I can use this experience to pass on to our subscribers and people who want to watch on YouTube. So I'd be really interested if you would think that was something that you'd like to see more of. So let me know in the comments if there's anything in particular that you'd like to see, anything that would help you. And it might surprise you with all my experience that I've been a victim of crime as well. And I'll tell you about that in this video. Now, there wouldn't be crime if there weren't victims, if it wasn't worth doing, if it wasn't lucrative. But unfortunately, there's a constant supply of victims. We're all out there. So what's a criminal looking for? Well, they're looking for a high reward for a low risk. And if you break it down that simply, you can start to change your behaviours to make yourself less likely to be a victim. Studies have shown that it takes less than 7 seconds for a criminal to decide whether you are going to be a likely target or not. So what sort of things are they looking for? Well, they're going to be looking for people who are distracted, not concentrating on where they're going. They're looking at their phones maybe, looking at the scenery. They're in crowded places and quite static. I did a little experiment when I was in Benidorm, and all I did was stood a couple of feet up an alleyway and just waited there to see who noticed me. And I was really surprised. Most people didn't see me at all, and I felt invisible. But when I was spotted occasionally, it made me feel a bit silly. So I've got the camera up to my face, filming people's reactions. So those people who were paying attention caught me off guard, and that would be the same if you're a criminal. So let me tell you about how I became a victim of crime. We were in Salou in Spain, and we caught the train to a place called Tarragona. If you've not been there, it's beautiful. Really, really nice place. And we'd only been there a few minutes. We'd gone up to a beautiful viewpoint. We were with our children, and it was a while ago because our youngest Harry was in his pushchair, and I'd lifted him out of his pushchair to have a look at the sights. And probably after about 5-10 seconds maybe, I turned around to see that our rucksack, which had been on the back of the pushchair, had disappeared. It had gone. I foolishly ran up the nearest alleyway, which I thought was the most likely escape route. But there was no sign of anybody. They'd gone, long gone, within 10 seconds like that, just from a moment of lapsed concentration, focusing on the kids, focusing on our enjoyment of the moment. And that's what criminals are after. But when I got back, I found that Lisa was absolutely distraught, in floods of tears, and it ruined the day. We got straight back on the train and we left again. So it really shows the impact that crime can have on people. Now, there was nothing of value in that bag. Imagine if we'd had our passports or money, train tickets, all those things in there. That would have made our life very, very difficult. So that was one thing that we did right. We'd got our valuables with us and on us. It just shows that despite my experience, you'd think I'd know better. But no, it can happen to anyone. So I'm going to help today just to impart a little bit of advice. And I don't want it to be preachy or like reading a crime prevention leaflet. Just a little bit of practical advice and habits that you could adopt just on a daily basis. Be aware of the situation you're in at all times. What's around you, who's around you. Is it a crowded place? Is it a quiet place? If it's crowded, you're likely to be vulnerable to pickpockets. So think about the situation you're in. Keep your head up. Make eye contact with people around. Criminals don't like that, because if you make eye contact with them and don't stare, make eye contact sufficient to let them know that you've seen them. Because if you've seen them, you'll recognise them if you see them again. They don't like that. They like that invisibility. They'd rather come, sneak up behind, get into your bag, your rucksack, whatever it is. And speaking of rucksacks and gear, I've found now I always carry a bum bag, a fanny pack in America, particularly on travel days, because I keep all my belongings in that. I strap it through my belt, through the loops in my trousers, so that even if anyone was to cut the strap, it would remain with me and still be difficult to take. And that hasn't failed me to date. So I wear that in front of me. It's not a good look. It's not a look I'd normally choose. But it's far better than my daily option, because I don't follow my own advice. Day to day, I'll wear a pair of jeans and I'll have my wallet in the back pocket. And that's just asking for trouble. Touch wood, it's not happened to date. But if you are looking at clothing, zips are definitely your friends. So whether it's rucksacks, bags, make sure that they've got zips on them. So if I'm going to buy a pair of shorts or a pair of trousers specifically for holiday, I will make sure that they've got zips, or at least buttons or some sort of securing pocket that I can keep valuables in. But even zips on things like rucksacks, crossbody bags, and on your bum bags quite often isn't enough, particularly in crowded places where pickpockets will come up to you and gradually, in a crowd, unzip things you won't even notice. These people are professionals. They do it for a living. They've got away with it many times. And you might think, yeah, I'd notice, I'd see that. I guarantee, until it happens, you won't. So what can you do about it? Well, zips are fine. I would always buy things with zips. But you can secure them even better. And if you don't need access to valuables in your bags, tie the zips together with a little padlock, or use a small carabiner, the type that people use in climbing. You can get some mini versions of those which screw up together. But I've also found some products that I'm going to buy one of these for my daughter. She's going to New Zealand and she'll be gone for quite some time. She'll be travelling around. Now these bags, you can lock the zips. They're a lot more secure than normal bags. You can also secure them to furniture quite easily, and they're also slash proof. So if somebody comes up to you with a Stanley knife and slashes a hole in the bag to reach in, they won't get through. Now they're a little bit more expensive than the usual rucksacks like the one I've got on at the moment, but I think it's well worth the investment and the money. So I'm buying this for my own peace of mind, probably a crossbody bag, because I think she'll get more use out of that. But there's a full range, and whatever type of bag that you use, I would say there's something for you. I'm going to leave a link in the comments, in the description below. And if you're interested in taking a look at these, I would suggest it's well worth the investment. But full disclosure, it is an affiliate link, but I wouldn't endorse products that I didn't feel confident about. Another important thing when travelling or visiting somewhere is to understand the area that you're going to. Do a bit of research. What are the crime types that are prevalent there? We've just been to Benidorm, so you've got what's called the P-men, who set up distractions. They'll have some boxes and potatoes or eggs or cups with peas underneath, and getting people to guess which one the pea's under and bet money. And they'll create, because they work as a team, a little bit of a hullabaloo that people are naturally drawn to, your curiosity and inquisitiveness. And while you're looking at that, you're getting your pocket picked. There's the hugger muggers. They'll come up to you lads when you're a bit drunk. They're trying to get into your pockets, not your trousers though. So just be warned about that one. There's loads of scams. And if there's any behaviour that seems a little bit out of the ordinary or unusual, just be on guard. If someone throws a map or paper in front of your face while you're sat at a cafe or you're at an ATM, there's going to be a reason for that. There's a reason sometimes why a distraction will be taking place over there and that your attention will be drawn to it. And while you're looking at a fight or whatever it is, it's all going to be staged and your pocket, your bag could easily go. So just be situationally aware. If it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. That's a little bit about prevention, but the other side of it is minimising the losses. If you go out and you take all your valuables together in one bag, you've got all your credit cards, your passport, your driving licence, all your money, your valuables, camera, phone, and it's all in one bag, and that disappears, you're up a creek without a paddle. Life's going to be very difficult. If you don't need to take things out, leave them in your hotel. Use your safe if you've got a room safe. Split your cash and your cards amongst different bags. Maybe use a money belt for money that you're not going to need to access. Whatever you do, don't fumble about trying to get your money belt out from under your t-shirt or your clothing just to get a couple of euros for the bus, because it's supposed to be a secret. It's not a secret anymore, is it? You fool. Sometimes though, it doesn't matter what precautions you've taken. If you've got some property on you that somebody wants, they may threaten to take it by force. Now, if that's the case, I'm going to give you the best piece of advice that I possibly can. So if you're threatened with a weapon or with violence, the ultimate move is compliance. And it pains me to say it, but give them what they want. And the reason for this is because you are more precious than your belongings. Don't risk any hurt or injury to yourself. It's not worth it. But you can potentially get one over on the criminals. And that is, and I don't know if you've heard of this before, by taking a mugger's wallet with you. Now, a mugger's wallet is a wallet with some low value items in. Pardon me as I try to get through the stile or the kissing gate. So a mugger's wallet is a spare wallet, an old one, that you've got a few old cards in, maybe a library card or one of these old loyalty cards, and a few notes in the local currency, nothing too much. Criminals looking to make a quick escape. If you've got something that you can give them that they think they're not going to count the money in front of you, give them that wallet. They've got what they came for. Make good your escape and get yourself to a safe place. But you can take some satisfaction knowing that you've got one over on them. But also in this day and age where people have got mobile phones, so maybe take a mugger's phone as well. Most of us have got old phones in drawers. Stick one of those in, particularly if you go into a high crime area. Now my advice would be, firstly, don't go to high crime areas. It's not worth it. There's some areas that I would avoid. I wouldn't go to Jamaica. I certainly wouldn't go out and about and explore independently. Other Caribbean islands we've had no issues with. But I've just seen some of the stories that come out of there. But what happens if the worst does come to the worst and you're there with someone in front of you who's threatening you? They've got a weapon. What do? Well, like I said, first, compliance is the ultimate. But if it's going wrong, you need to protect yourself physically, and moving backwards is probably the best way to go. That saved my life on a few occasions when people have confronted me with weapons, including one occasion where someone was chasing me with a garden fork. That was not a pleasant experience. I didn't know I could jump fences backwards, but I can, or I could back in the day. And I just had to maintain sufficient distance between me and him so that he couldn't reach me with the fork. And he was holding it like a rifle, like a bayonet, and pretty much running at me as fast as he could. And I was running slightly backwards, slightly forwards, but keeping my eye on him because I didn't want my back to him when he closed down on me. Eventually, I maintained so much distance that he threw it at me like a javelin, and it went whizzing past my ear. End of the story was, I then ran after him because he hadn't got a weapon, jumped on him, we had a bit of a scuffle. I had a few displaced ribs, but he was in custody, so yay, I win. But yeah, moving backwards, it could save your life. If that's not an option, if you're confronted with someone, think about the stance that you adopt. And this isn't ninja training. This is in no way self-defense training or anything. It's just a little bit of practical advice if you're confronted with someone with a weapon. And the advice is to adopt a side stance so that your weaker foot, which for me is my left foot, is pointing forwards. Your back foot is behind you. That enables you to move backwards, move forwards, move to the side. It also presents your side as the front target. So there's less surface area showing if you're facing someone from the side. It also means that you can raise your arm in a passive gesture to keep someone's distance, and you can protect yourself like that. And if someone does lunge for you, you do stand more of a chance of being able to parry any sort of a knife attack or blow. But as I say, that is if things have gone very, very badly. And really, it doesn't happen that often. I'm talking about crime, but I don't want to worry people. This is about you taking some precautions and making sure that you enjoy your travels, because that's what it's about. Life is short. We should enjoy it. So, thanks for watching this very different episode of Travelling Light. If you've enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. And if you want to see any more content like this, just let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. You take care. Bye.